Bitcoin! Today in crypto land, Bitcoin gets a strong denial at $9,000. Billionaires want to gobble up all of the Bitcoin for themselves. BSV flies on fake news, and we welcome our brothers and our sisters over in Egypt back to the cryptoverse. Now, a quick note for you before we do begin today's news. The Ledger Nano X is back and available for order. The hot new device has increased storage as well as Bluetooth capabilities, which is very cool. And currently, Ledger is offering free shipping on the Ledger Nano X to anywhere in the world. There is a link down below where you can get yours. So, top news story of the day. Bitcoin. It was above $9,000 today, fulfilling all of our hopes, all of our dreams for a better future, clearing away the pain of the months of anguish. For around 10 minutes anyway. Before having actually a really sharp price correction all the way down to almost $8,000, showing an incredibly strong rejection by the market at the $9,000 level. Now, at the time of recording this video, we have actually found support for the price at around the recent resistance levels of $8,200. Personally, I don't find any of this actually surprising or alarming. I mean, seriously, guys, look at the massive growth movements that we have had over the last couple of weeks and even just the other day. Of course, we were always going to see strong corrections and strong rejections happening. This is a healthy thing for the market. While some people are calling for a much larger correction down to 6,000 or something like that, and others are calling for 20,000, it really just underscores that no one has any idea where the price is going exactly and when. Just stack those sats and chill, guys. Long term, we're going to do very well. In fact, stack sats and chill. Let's make that the new Netflix and chill. Way sexier, guys. Way sexier. Now, today's rejection, of course, as well serves as a reminder that Bitcoin is still the undisputed king of crypto land, as Bitcoin's 10% drop caused the entire market to bleed red with very few exceptions. Also, I think something that is incredibly noteworthy here is that Bitcoin volume has actually been crazy recently. I know we've had volume issues with fake volume reporting and stuff like that, but we've been fighting that. And we have seen most days recently exceeding the biggest days of the 2017 bull run. And we're still 50% under the price of the previous all-time high. It is only a matter of time before things really start heating up. Honestly, I would love to see some sweet sideways action. Can we just do that, Bitcoin? Rest of the year, just range between like $7,000 and $10,000. That would be amazing, Bitcoin. Thank you very much for listening to my request. But I feel like my wish will probably not be fulfilled, though, as the first story of today, I think, kind of illustrates for us. And that story is that a random billionaire has reportedly stated that they want to buy 25% of the total supply of Bitcoin. At least this is according to a public statement from a company called Dadiani, which is a London-based investment firm, or OTC desk as well. And I just want to say to the billionaires, get in line, dudes. You gotta wait behind me and you and everyone else. We want our Bitcoin too. Crazy people thinking they just run out and buy up all the market like that. Now, I'm also not sure that I totally believe this story. I mean, just stop to think for a second. What better way to market your company and to signal to the rich investors that you are a big and important company and that you cater to ultra rich clients, and then of course you get Forbes and everyone else talking about it? What better way to do that than to claim that you have a client who's so big and prestigious that they want to buy 25% of the supply of Bitcoin, that you want to help them try and achieve that goal? Also, of course, Why would you want to announce to the public that someone wants that much Bitcoin instead of just trying to buy that Bitcoin for them on the quiet? Doesn't make sense. But maybe it did happen. Maybe they're just bragging. Who knows? But even if it didn't happen, I think we would be foolish to think that there are not billionaires, major banks, other major financial players, and potentially even state-level actors who are actively trying to get massive amounts of Bitcoin in order to be able to control the markets. And these guys are not running around shouting about it. They're doing it on the quiet. They will be actively hoarding this Bitcoin. They will be removing it from the markets in order to try and control the prices. This is the next phase we're moving into here, guys. Day by day, we see these big players wanting a piece of the Bitcoin action. Now, the representative from Dadiani did make a good point, though, later on in the article, and it was that they can only accumulate so much for big clients before it actually starts making really big price moves on the overall market. These institutions and these big players are smart. They want to make the buys without making the market spike. I mean, they're not going to Coinbase and doing a $25 billion market order. That would be crazy. Wouldn't even work. But Bitcoin is starting to get rare regardless. They have all these pieces coming together. And this is, I think, part of the beauty of the rarity of Bitcoin. It's really pretty impractical for someone to actually be able to buy up 25% of the supply without sending the price skyrocketing, thus invalidating their ability to try and buy 25% of Bitcoin because the price would just go too gosh darn high. All of these big money players trying to get a piece of the action, and then you have all of us hodlers over here just like, you will pry my Bitcoin from my cold, dead hands. Something like that anyway. Now, the exponential price action, I think, is inevitable. Look at everyone who wants to get Bitcoin right now. It's crazy. But for many of us, we're just small fish playing in water filled with massive whales, people who are able to pull the strings of the market and to move the market to their desire to acquire hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin at a time or sell equal amounts of it. Now, during the past few months, we have seen big amounts of Bitcoin actually being accumulated as well by a small number of well-funded players. Now, this came out in a recent report from DR. This shows that over the last 9 months, big whales have sucked up an additional guys, 450,000 Bitcoin. That's massive. And while the big whales are trying to get their piece of the pie, we see this volume increasing, and it's increasing all over the world in countries like Colombia and Argentina and Chile and a lot of other places. Malawi, I saw a report today as well, and these are relatively untapped markets, and they are taking an ever-increasing interest in Bitcoin. We're talking hundreds of millions of people here, and every dollar counts. And the great thing is that a dollar of a dude in Colombia carries the exact same weight as the billionaire in London. When you have your Satoshis, they are your Satoshis. And that's awesome. And to underline the massive manipulation that we see going on in the market, we can move on to our next story, which is a little bit of fun from our old friends over at Bitcoin SV. Now, yesterday there was a fake news story circulating on Chinese social media. It showed a fake article about Craig Wright having transferred 50,000 Bitcoin from the biggest Bitcoin wallet in existence over to Binance, which apparently proved that Craig Wright is indeed Satoshi Nakamoto, and that furthermore, the CEO of Binance reacted to all of this and came out and said that he will promise to not only relist BSV, but to publicly apologize to Craig Wright. In reaction to this happening, BSV pumped from $120 to $250 before crashing big time down to $45, recovering up to around $180 currently for some unbeknownst reason to me. Now that's quite the wild ride when you think about all that price action happening in the space of a few hours. And that market sell down to $45? What's the bet that that was probably the guy who actually put the fake news out? Would not be surprised at all. Now this serves to underline two very important things. Don't trust, verify. Anyone could have proven this false by looking on the blockchain to see if that actually did happen. They didn't. Or they did and thought, well, the crowd's going to jump in anyway, so I'll do it anyway. It also proved that the Chinese retail market is strong. It's unstoppable in spite of the official bans from the government. And the Chinese investors are hungry for that crypto opportunity. Very exciting stuff. And our final story today is coming out of Egypt. And it is that Egypt is finally lifting its crypto ban and will now allow licensed cryptocurrency companies to operate within the country. Welcome back to the party, Egypt. We missed you guys. Good to have you back. Now, the new proposal will make it legal to trade, create, or promote cryptocurrencies within Egypt, but only for licensed entities. So yes, the regulators want to have a tight control of it. Now, this is a big reversal from the blanket ban, which was inspired last year by the Grand Mufti of Egypt. He believed that Bitcoin was not Sharia compliant, and that of course it could be used for all the normal fun kind of stuff, you know, tax evasion, money laundering, and terrorism, etc., etc., etc. Now, the view on compliance was a view which has not actually been shared by the Gulf states. The Gulf states have largely deemed Bitcoin to be Sharia compliant, although of course we have seen a complete ban put in place in Saudi Arabia for the buying and selling of Bitcoin. So they're an outlier within the Gulf region, but the decision from Egypt is important because Egypt is a country of nearly 100 million people with an annual GDP of $250 billion. And of course, in the end, every country, regardless of size, regardless of wealth, should allow its citizens to easily access the crypto markets. Bitcoin is for everyone, everywhere, every country. I want everyone to be part of this revolution of money. Anyway, just my two Satoshis, guys. You will let me know what you think about any of these stories that I covered here today down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for your time and watching this video today. If you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a thumbs up on it to appease the almighty Google algorithm gods. And of course, if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you know when I put out a new video. You can also click that bell. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.